Hello friends, today we are going to learn about data types little bit more. Okay, we are going to get a little bit more information about data types. Okay, I'll open this image which we have seen or created previously, right? We are going to get information about the data types. In the last few classes we have seen the size of data and the minimum value and the maximum value, how to find, right? How to find the size of data type and the minimum value and the maximum values that a specific data type can hold, right? So today we are going to learn type of data or the different types of data that we have, okay, or we will be working with. Okay, and later we are going to learn about operations that you can perform on the specific data when we come to operators. So let's get started. I will open the Unity, then I will open this project data types demo which we have created previously. Let me check whether the camera is attached to. Okay, now I am attaching this script data types demo which we have created previously. Okay, I just open this. Okay, before going to the different types of data, I would like to, let me delete this. I would like to talk about the default values that a specific data type can hold. Let me write the different types of data that we have seen from top to down one by one. First I will create a variable of type byte. Okay, byte, let us take b1. This is a variable. Then we are creating a short s1. Then let me make the size little bit bigger. Short. Then we have an integer. Let me make it i1. Then integer, then we have a long is going to be L1. Then we have a float F1, then double D1. Even we have a decimal. I hope you remember I told you in the last class. Let me write it as DCM1, decimal 1. Then remember that you cannot have two variables. Okay, you cannot have two variables with the same name. Okay, the variable name should be different in the same if you have in the same block. Okay, there will not be two variables with the same name allowed in the one block. Okay, same block. Later we will get about the scope of variables. When we come to scope of variables, we will be getting more idea about variables. Now after decimal we have the character type, that is going to be ch1. Then before that I will write the bool type, that is a boolean type. So bool, bool1, let me write. Okay, please remember that these are actually the data types, right? They are keywords. Okay, you cannot use the name of the variable a keyword cannot be used as the name of a variable. Okay, we will be knowing the rules of naming variables soon. What are the rules that you need to follow if you are creating a variable or identifier? Okay, now after that we have seen some other type of data like a string type. Let me write s. Okay, let me write string 1. Let's take string 1. Then we have also seen the object type. You can see there is a class object and the type object. The object, let me write obj1. Okay, we have created here the different types of data. Even you can write the u short, u int and u long, but I am not interested to talk about them because they are same, right? Just they are unsigned of these three types. Let me show the default values. That means if you do not initialize any value to a variable, then what will be the default value of them? Because that is most important, you people should know what will be a default value if I do not initialize to this, because sometimes you might be trying to use a variable which is not initialized. Okay, actually C# will say an error message that without initializing you cannot use it, right? That is a really good thing, but at least you should know what will be a default value, because that will be useful later. Let me put a breakpoint and attach the debugger. Okay, now we have attached the debugger, and we can see in locals all the values of the variables. Now if I run this code, let me run the code. Okay, it will take little time. Okay, I think, is it stopped? No, the code is running but it has not stopped there. The reason, let me check out. The main camera is attached with the data types demo. It is not okay, let me run once again. Okay, you can see that it has stopped over here, and you can see here the different values of each data type. Okay, this is B1, which is a byte. Its value is 0. You can see that it is having the value 0, which is the default value if you do not initialize to a byte variable, because byte is an integer. Okay, then next it is showing the boolean, okay, bool, which is this type, which is going to have a default value false. Okay, boolean will be either true or false. Then you have here the character type, okay, char ch1. The character is going to hold an integer 0, and at the end you can see that you have /0. This is actually a null, which indicates that it is the end of the character. Usually it is treated as like that. Okay, ch1, actually you can think like it is going to hold a 0, or 0 is having a value, /0 is having this value. Okay, we will see what is the meaning of this /0 and what is this 0. Then this is a d1, that is double, which is going to hold value 0 because it is an integer. Okay, this is going to be a null character. ch1 is a null character, remember that one, we'll come to that. Then the decimal is a real type of a data which is having 0. It is showing some arrow, and it has a lot of different information, okay, that we are not interested in, because a decimal is a more valuable data type. Okay, we will be getting information about decimal later, but at least you can remember that it is going to hold the default value 0. The float is going to be a 0. It is a real type, that means it is going to hold a decimal value, right? Then I is an integer which is going to be 0, long is 0, remember that. Byte, int, float, double, decimal, all these are going to hold 0. And object, you can see it is having the null. As it is a reference type, it is going to hold the default value null. Default value of boolean is false. False, actually, if you think in terms of numbers, bits, then 0 will be false, 1 means true, right? You can remember this one. Okay, the boolean will be having the value default false. The string is going to hold the value 0, which is actually, you can see the character is also having a 0. Not string, it is excuse me, this is a short data type. Short is 0. Okay, and the string is a reference type, which is going to be a type. Actually, it is behind the scene, it is an object type. It is an object actually, right? So this is also going to hold null. Okay, these two are reference types. Normally the reference types are going to hold null. All integer or numeric types are going to hold the value 0. the boolean type is going to hold the value false by default if you do not initialize, and the character is going to hold the character null. Okay, why I am telling all these things to you people? Because later you might be working with these data types, right? When we are working with these data types, we should be knowing what is the default value of this. Okay, we'll come to know how it is useful knowing about these default values. Okay, that is all about the default values. Please make these notes and make a note of all these things and remember. Okay, now I just run this code continuously. I just remove this breakpoint. I remove the attacher. Okay, that is about the default values. Now let me tell about the type of data. These are all numeric types. That means I can say, instead of numeric, we know that all these things are numeric from here to here, so better I differentiate here. These going to hold integer types. Integer means whole numbers, WHOLE, whole numbers. Okay, whole numbers. The whole numbers means they can hold, let me write here 22. Okay, this is a whole number. Okay, it is not going to hold something like this. You cannot put a number with a decimal point. Okay, in the integer type of data, we will be knowing what happens if you are trying to do like this. Okay, then the short is also integer. Let me write here 22, and I1 is also an integer. So integer means the whole number. This is equal to 22. Now you can think like the short as 2-byte integer. Okay, this integer is a 4-byte. This is long, which is a 8-byte integer. You can think like that. And byte is a 1-byte integer. Because all these things are actually integers only. Whereas float, if you are assigning a value to a float, then let us take, you want to store 22.22. Okay, please remember that. Let me save and check what is happening behind the scene over here. Let me stop this and clear. And you got a small error that literal of type double cannot be implicitly converted to type float. Add suffix f to create a literal of this type. It is telling that if you are assigning a value to a float variable in C#, you have to append here f at the end. If you do not put f, then it is treated as a double type. Okay, this type of data. Okay, so I just put here f. F indicates it is a floating point value. Please make a note. This is important. The next one is a double. For double, actually, I just put here 22.22. I just save it and come back. Whether we are getting an error, we will see. Okay, we are not having any errors, only we have warnings. That means if you have a number with a decimal point, then for double you need not to write any suffix. Okay, but you can prefer, if you want, you can put D. D indicates it is a double type of data. Okay, think so. Okay, so we are not getting any errors. And the decimal, we will be having 22.22. Let me save this one and come back. Okay, it is telling that we have a small error. Okay, for decimal you have to suffix the m character to indicate that decimal means you have to put here m. M indicates that it is a decimal. D indicates double. Actually, if you do not write D, it is okay for the double type of value, because automatically it will treat this number as a double if you do not put D. But usually it is better to follow some standards always. Let us check it out now. Okay, so we have only warnings. Now for Boolean, a Boolean can store either a true value or a false value. Okay, there are two keywords called false and true. True means true, false means false. Remember that one. I will put at present here true. Okay. Then the character type. The character is going to be put inside a single quotation. Okay. Any single symbol, if you put inside a single quote, then it is called as a character. Remember that one. Okay. I am putting A in a single quotation. If you are putting a single symbol inside the single quote, then it is called as a character. Okay. Whereas string means you will be putting inside the double quotation. Okay. Let us take unity. Okay. You have to put the string in between these two double quotations. And this is an object. We know that object can hold anything. I hope you remember, we have seen when we were learning boxing and unboxing. At present I put here also unity. Okay, let us save this one. Now these are the real numbers. Okay, integers or whole numbers, the real numbers, and this is a Boolean data type, and here you are having character data type and string, and last one is the object type. Okay, characters. Okay, now all these things are very useful in game. Okay, maybe you are working with any keyboard input, then you can use these characters are useful. Okay, we will be working with these numbers and all. Okay, now I hope you understood the different types of data. We got an idea of what default values the variables are going to hold of a specific type, or the specific type of variable is going to hold what type of or what default value, and what are integers, what are real numbers, and how do you initialize the real numbers. Okay, the suffixes. For float you use F, for double we use D, and for decimal we use M, that you should not forget. And Boolean is going to hold either true or false. Characters are going to be enclosed in or sandwiched between single quote, and strings are sandwiched or enclosed between double quotations, and object type is going to be anything that you can put inside it. Okay. Now you might be thinking, what is the difference between these four if they are all integers? Only difference is the size of the data type. Okay, this is a 1 byte integer, 2 byte integer, 4 byte integer, 8 byte integer. As I told that 1 byte is actually 8 bits, so 2 raised to the power of 8. Right? We have seen in the last class that maximum you can hold 255. If you try to store more than 255, let us take you want to store 300 in a byte, what will happen? That we will see. Okay, and this is a float, real numbers, all are real numbers. Here there is the size difference, of course. This is a 4 byte, this is a 8 byte, this is a 16 bytes. Okay, but the most important difference in these three is precisions. Precision means after the decimal point how many digits you can put, or how many digits a specific type can hold. Okay, now the floating point can hold 6 to 7 digits after this decimal point. Okay, whereas the double can hold 15 to 16 digits after the decimal point, whereas the decimal data type can hold from 28 to 29 digits Now this is very important thing or point to be noted out. That is, if you want the calculation to be very highly accurate, then you can use these data types, double or decimal. If it is not required that much accurate data, if you do not want, then you can use the float, because it is going to hold less digits. That means it will at least try to round up to 6 digits, right? It is all, if you want highly accurate, then you can prefer this. More accurate means you can prefer this one. Okay, but also you need to concentrate that if you want more accurate value, then of course the system will take more time to calculate. Okay, the float is little bit more faster than the double and decimal. And even you need to concentrate when you are making game. Please check out whether I need to create a floating point or integer. If you can able to create, if you are having some variable which is going to hold only the whole number, then always prefer creating the integers. Simply do not use the floating point, because the floating point calculation will take more time than the integer type. Okay, that is all about optimization. Okay. Now I hope you understood about data types. Let me put a breakpoint again and show you the stack of not stack, a memory at present, which variable is going to have what value. Okay, I have put the breakpoint and let me attach. Okay, then let us see. Now we have all the variables assigned, and let me check and run the code. Okay, it has not stopped over here. Let me save it once again and come back. Let me run once again. Now let us see how the memory is representing our variables and their values. And you can see that byte is having the value 22, the boolean type is having the value true. Now this is the place you can see the character is having here 65 and the character A. This is the ASCII value. I hope you remember ASCII value. And before assigning the value or a character A here, okay, the default value was something different, right? It was /0 enclosed in single quote. That is a null. The default value is a null character and its value is 0. That is the reason it was showing here 0 and here /0. Okay, now I hope you understood. Okay, the ASCII value of null is 0. ASCII value of A is 65. So it is showing first the number, then it is showing the character. Then the double is having 22.22. You can see that it is not going to store the suffixes F, D, M that we have written previously while assigning, but they will not be stored here. Okay, 22.22, and the decimal is having 22.22. It is not having M in front of it. Okay, remember that. It is not that this will be stored inside. Only for our representation, or a computer or the system will get an idea what type of value you are giving or storing in that variable. Then the float is having 22.22, then integer is having 22, the long is having 22, and the object is having, you can see now your object is of type string. It is interesting to note, right? I told you that whatever type of value that you put in an object, it will convert to that type. So here we have put the string in the object, so it has got converted to string. Previously it was showing both the places object because string was object. If you do not initialize the value to a string, then it will be treated as an object. When you assign a string value to a string type, then it will be treated as a string. Okay, and string is having the value unity. But actually behind the scene, these reference variables are not going to hold the actual value. Okay, but it will be little bit different. When we come to know more about reference types, then we will get idea about what actually they are going to hold and how they will be interpreted. But at present we have to remember that at present that the object is having the value unity and string 1 is having the value unity, which is a double quotation also it is having, you can see that one. But actually the double quotation will not be interpreted for us. It is just to show us the memory representation is showing like this, but behind the scene just we can remember that it is having only unity and this is having only unity. Okay, let me play this. Okay, so that is all about how the memory, in the memory what you will see. Okay, let me remove this breakpoint. I think this is the enough information about data types for this class. In the next class we will see the data type conversion, before quitting from this class, I just want to talk about keywords. Okay, KEYWORDS. Keywords means what? Now, keywords are reserved words. RESERVED, reserved words. Okay, keywords are reserved words. There are more than 87 keywords are there in C#. Okay, now what are those keywords? All these things what you are seeing here, the byte, short, int, long, float, double, even, wide, the class, the public, using, all these things are keywords, and you can see all of them are written in the small letters. Okay, and they are in a blue color. Even this true is also a keyword, even this object is a keyword. Okay, let me show OBJECT object. Let me check whether it shows the IntelliSense anything. No. Let me check whether the character or something shows here. It's a Unicode character showing decimal, public. No. Okay, class. Yeah, you can read here the summary. Classes are declared using the keyword class. Can you see that? Class is a keyword. Let me check some other things will be visible. No? Okay. Please remember that these are all keywords, and one thing you need to note is you cannot use the name of a keyword as a variable name or a constant name or a function name or a class name. Okay. Now, and keywords are always in small letters in C#. That also you need to note. Okay. And another point I want to talk about is identifiers. User defined identifiers. Now, identifiers means a sequence of symbols. Okay, by seeing that you can identify the specific part of a program. Identifiers are the sequence of symbols which tells what is what, you can say like that. Okay, and keywords are the reserved words. Okay, they are reserved for the language. Their meaning you cannot change. You have to use them as they are. There are rules. Okay, they are usually in a small letters. Now, What are identifiers? Let me tell you. Identifiers means the names that you create. Okay, let us take an example of a variable name. I have written B1. This is an identifier. Okay, and DCM1. This is an identifier, sequence of symbols. By seeing that, I can say that this is a decimal variable. Bool1, I can say that this is a Boolean variable. I can say that string1, this is a string variable. By seeing this, I can say start, okay, this is a start function. And these are data types, right? The data type, not data types, data types demo class. This is also a sequence of symbols, okay, which is also an identifier. Identifiers are the sequence of characters or sequence of symbols. By seeing that, you can identify what is it. Okay, now the naming identifiers, that means if you are creating a variable or creating a function or creating a class, okay, then you need to follow few rules. The first rule I would like to say is always begin the identifier with a character. Okay, you cannot use a digit to start a character, but you can have an underscore character also. Except underscore, no other special symbols you can use. Okay, only you can use underscore character. You cannot use other characters, other special characters. I can say special characters like $, hash, @. Okay, these are all special characters that you cannot use inside the identifiers. Okay, and space is also a character, that is also not allowed. Okay, and always remember that identifier should begin with a alphabet, and you can use underscore. As I told, no two underscores are allowed sequentially or linearly, one after the another. I hope you remember we have created a constant like this: screen underscore width. Underscore is allowed, okay, but two underscores are not allowed. Okay, that you should remember. And identifier name should be meaningful. You cannot use keywords as the identifiers. Okay, that is all about the identifiers. Okay, variable name is identifier, start is a function name is an identifier, the class name is an identifier, even the namespace name is an identifier. So identifier means just a sequence of symbols which help you to identify the specific part of the code. Now keywords also, I hope you understood, and that's all. That is all about this class. See you in the next class. Thank you guys.